everyone to Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor. My name is Linda, and right here beside me is Reverend David. He's going to be co-hosting with me today. And not only would I like to welcome you people here in our audience, but also everyone who's joining us online today.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah. So again, so glad to have you all here. As we always do, I just got back from a trip and I'm having trouble getting my head wrapped around this. Okay, so whatever your faith background, your race, your gender, your sexual orientation, age, or ability, you are welcome here. And we come together to encourage and support one another in our individual spiritual journeys. And wherever you are in that process, we are glad you joined us today.
While it is a well-traveled land, we would like to respectfully acknowledge that the land in which we gather today is the traditional territory of the Three Fires Confederacy of First Nations, comprised of the Ojibwe, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi peoples. We are grateful to work and learn and live in this area. And now I would like to introduce our music team, Angelica, and and you know, you'll notice that Michael isn't here today, but the piano is here. Yeah. So I'm going to introduce the piano because it's just a wonderful piano and it practically plays by itself. Yeah.
Yeah, so Mike Karloff was able to, with this particular keyboard and everything, was able to pre-record all of the music and everything. And he was taken away, needing to do some things today. So we're glad for that nice piano, and we're glad for Angelica to be here as well. And thank you, Linda. It's always a pleasure to platform with you. Thank you for being here too. So let's open in prayer. So I do invite you to just take a moment to relax into this present moment. And I invite you to take a deep breath. And as we take that deep breath, we just remember the truth of who we are, spiritual beings having a human experience. Take that in. Just realize that truth. That there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in our lives. And we live and we move and we have our being in that one presence and one power. By whatever name you might wish to call it, it is here right now. It surrounds us, it fills us, and we just allow ourselves to feel that presence, to feel that power, to feel the peace and love that is at the very core of who God is, of who Spirit is, of what Spirit is. And so we just allow ourselves on this day that we come together, today especially as a day of gratitude. And we're going to have our potluck afterwards, and we just allow ourselves to feel that sense of gratitude for our spiritual community, for each other, and for all the rich, rich blessings that we have in this life. So we open our hearts and we open our minds to the wisdom of Spirit that is here with us today, and we just allow ourselves to feel a sense of gratitude. And we pray this in the name of the living Christ presence. And so it is. Amen. So today we have Susan Fabro. There's Susan. She's our prayer chaplain for today, and so she will be available after the service up in our prayer chapel room upstairs.
And I would also like to remind everyone that we have a prayer request box and slips that you can just write down the people you want to be prayed for. Place those prayer requests in the prayer box, and our prayer team will pray over those. Also, I'd like to remind you that here and online, 24/7, we have prayer support with Silent Unity, and the phone number is 1-800-NOW-PRAY.
Now I want to invite you to all stand up, and we'll have our first song. And actually just stay standing because we'll have two.
Excellent.
Angelica?
Good morning, everyone. Our first song is I Am the Thinker. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. One more time. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. If you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light, I am more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. If you ask me what am I am beauty, I am joy, I am more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light and brighten someone's darkest night. I'm so much more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. One more time. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. Thank you. Our next song, while I move it on up here, is Gentle with Myself. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will hold my heart like a newborn baby child. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will hold my heart like a newborn baby child. part of me feels safe to go. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. And I love myself like a newborn baby child. I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. And I love myself like a newborn baby child. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I am gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child. I am gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I rock myself like a newborn baby child. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I love myself like a newborn baby child. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Angelica.
And now it's time to bless the children. So let's have the children just come on up here to the front so we can bless you. There we go. And let's bless them today. We love you.
Lovely. We bless you, and we appreciate you just the way you are. Okay.
You are
Walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
Thank you. That was great. It's so nice to have the children here. Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor is a progressive spiritual community that emphasizes personal growth. It emphasizes living consciously and making positive differences in the world. As part of a new thought and the worldwide unity movement, we strive to be compassionate, inclusive, open-minded, service-oriented, abundant, and spirit-filled.
And unity teaches that each person is a unique individual expression of God. Our realization of that truth evolves as we expand our consciousness through prayer and meditation. And unity emphasizes that we create our experiences of life according to the thoughts and feelings that we hold in mind. And affirmative prayer is the highest form of creative thought, and meditation stills the mind and heightens our awareness of our oneness with spirit, with each other, and with all of life. So living from that awareness transforms our lives and the world.
Our affirmation for October is, today is a new day. With a heart full of gratitude, I give thanks for new opportunities and new possibilities open to me. So let's say that together.
Today is a new day. With a heart full of gratitude, I give thanks for new opportunities and new possibilities open to me. And now some music. Yep.
Today's solo is Trust Your Heart by Judy Collins. In the sky, the phantom moon appears at midday to join the sun in some familiar dance. In their light, our voices tremble with reflections of what we know and what we leave to chance. The heart can see beyond the sun, beyond the turning moon. And as we look, the heart will teach us all we need to learn. We have dreams. We hold them to the light like diamonds, stones of the moon, and splinters of the sun. Some we keep to light the dark nights on our journey and shine beyond the days when we have loved. The heart can see beyond our prayers, beyond our fondest schemes, and tell us which are made for fools and which are wise men's dreams. Trust your heart. Trust your heart. Thank you very much.
Angelica, that was lovely. Thank you so much. So I just got back Friday night. I got back from Vancouver. Actually, I was in Nanaimo for a Unity Canada conference, and we had sort of planned it as a retreat as well. We had a day of silence, and it was really, it was a way for ministers and LUTs and anybody else that was a member of Unity that wanted to be at the conference just to be able to unwind and take in some really good classes, which we did. I had the privilege of presenting two workshops on the Enneagram there, which I dearly enjoyed. So it was a very enjoyable trip, and it really was satisfying to my soul, to say the least. But today we do have a guest speaker that it's a pre-recorded talk from Reverend Paul Hasselbeck, and you have been introduced to him before. And he did a series of talks on user-friendly metaphysics, and this one is called Just the Fundamentals. And I think you'll really enjoy Paul. And so without any more, by the way, Paul was one of my teachers when I was in seminary, so Paul's a good friend. And anyway, I'm delighted that he's providing our talk today. So without any further ado, I'll step down and let you watch the talk.
I'm the Reverend Dr. Paul Hasselbeck, and thank you for inviting me. As we get started, I invite you to sit back and relax. And if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can email me at alwardhasselbeck@gmail.com. You can check out my website at paulhasselbeck.com, as well as the website for my podcast, which I do with my co-hosts, the Reverend Doctors Bill and Cher Holton. That website is metaphysicalromp2.com. Speaking of metaphysical romp, let us get romping. So this is user-friendly metaphysics, and this is just the fundamentals. So we start out by thinking about self-responsibility. Self-responsibility is the key to personal freedom. It means taking responsibility for all aspects of your life that are within our control, within your control. Taking responsibility for all aspects of life that are within your control. Carl Jung said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." That is taking control of one's life. You can only control the controllables. And you see, that's a quote from a Verizon team member. Some months ago, I went to a Verizon store with a problem with my cell phone. And this amazing young man worked on my phone and worked on my phone for well over an hour without getting upset or frustrated. When he was done, I thanked him profusely and I said, "Young man, you are amazing. You didn't get frustrated. You didn't get flustered. You just kept at it." And he said, "Well, sir, you can only control the controllables." And boy, have I been using that saying since then, mostly silently. So I wanted to start with the Serenity Prayer by Reinhold Niebuhr. Most of you could probably say this on your own. I have to read it. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. A brilliant poem for an external God that has the capacity to grant us things, to do things for us. But I don't see that Serenity Prayer in a unity context. This is my affirmative version. I have the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I have the courage to change the things I can. I have the confidence to influence the things I can. And I have the wisdom to know the difference. If we are fully divine and fully human, we're not expecting God to grant us anything. And I added that other piece that we can influence things, can't we? We can influence each other's. And so I hope I have rounded out this poem in a way that you can claim as your own. And if you have a cell phone handy, take a picture. So for something to be controllable, it must be changeable. Changeability and unchangeability is a fundamental aspect that we need to look at. So what is changeable and what isn't? If it's changeable, can I change it? If it's changeable, do I want to change it? And if it isn't changeable, what can I change instead? So what's changeable? Well, the sun's changeable. The path of the earth around the sun is changeable, but I can't change it. Now, the earth upon which I walk, or in my garden, I can change that soil, can I? But maybe I don't want to. Maybe I'm not into gardening. And then there are these things that aren't changeable and, in a sense, aren't movable, and in a sense, aren't controllable. So what can I change instead? Basically, that's all about changing ourselves, changing our minds, changing our consciousness. And that is a fundamental concept that frees us and gives us more peace of mind. So you see a green circle and a blue circle on your screen. The blue is the unchangeable, those things that do not change. And we'll get into that. And then there's changeable things. And you've already learned that there's changeable things that we can't change, right? Like the sun, the path of the earth around the sun, lots of things. So the changeable includes things that are changeable that are physical and things that are changeable that are non-physical. While the unchangeable is made up of constants and laws. We could also say principles and laws, or divine ideas and laws. And the changeable, which is physical and non-physical, we can think of the physical universe, can't we? The entire physical universe is changeable, but we can only change our little corner, our little speck of it right where we are. So we have physicality, which includes our human form, our bodies. It includes our planet Earth. It includes the galaxy, and it includes galaxies. Think about this, folks. That's the Milky Way galaxy there. And that Milky Way galaxy contains billions with a B of stars that have billions of planets. And then in the upper left corner, we have a picture from the Hubble telescope. Each of those dots of light aren't stars. Those are galaxies. We live in a universe where there are billions of galaxies that contain billions of suns, that contain billions of planets. I hope that just blows your mind a bit. And all of physicality is self-evident, and we know it directly, don't we? And given the magnitude of it, we could say it's infinite, can't we? And based on recent science, there seems to have been big bangs before the one that we're living in. So maybe physicality has always been, and it's constantly changing. It's expanding, growing, evolving. And underlying physicality are these laws and constants, or laws and principles. And these laws of nature are things like electromagnetism, mathematics, quantum mechanics, gravity, chemistry, music, you name it. And these are the things that aren't changeable. Now, humankind's understanding of the laws of electromagnetism might be changing, but the actual law itself is not. And then here's some constants to think about: speed of light, the value of pi, Planck's constant, the gravitational constant, the Bohr's constant. There's lots of them. So physicality is underlaid by unchanging laws and constants. And the revealing word under 12, Charles said, all material things represent spiritual realities. Those spiritual realities are those principles and laws that God is. Whatever you see in the external, you may be assured has its parallel in mind. But that's basically saying, if it exists, there must be something unchanging that's being used to bring it into existence. And this is a wonderful quote from Lothar Schaefer. The visible world is shot through with invisible images that define future possibilities. All visible things, all physical things and phenomena need an underlying image, or they couldn't have appeared in the visible world. So we have this changeable physical and non-physical realm. And part of that is consciousness. That consciousness is the changeable non-physical. And this is what Max Planck, famous physicist, said. I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. We cannot get behind consciousness. Everything that we talk about, everything that we regard as existing, postulates consciousness. Now look, scientists get real nervous when we talk about consciousness, though they're getting better. So what is this thing that we call consciousness? We have it, we experience it, but how do we get our hands around it in a fundamental way to make it useful, to use it more consciously? Well, consciousness in these days is said to have three components: awareness, arousal, and motivation. So what is awareness? So when we're looking about, as we're going about our days, consciousness is kind of like a flashlight that we're shining on things to highlight, to become aware of them. And there's some things that flashlight lands on that don't mean much. But there's other things we become aware of that we begin to get some arousal about it. And if we get enough arousal, then we have motivation to do something. So consciousness, like the physical world, is self-evident and we directly know it. And watch this, just like physicality, consciousness seems to be infinite. Maybe it's always been. It's certainly always changing. It's evolving, growing, expanding, could be contracting too, depending on the consciousness. And so we need to remember the visible world is shot through with invisible images that define future possibilities. The aspect that is so difficult to get used to is the power of the images. All visible things and phenomena need an underlying image, or they couldn't have appeared in the visible world. So there's a correlation between these unchanging things and the changeable. And then Lothar Schaefer goes on to say, since this rule applies to the processes of the physical world, as well as the processes of our mind, the processes of our consciousness, it reveals an unexpected congruence of the physical and the mental that is typical for the new physics. The changeable physical and non-physical realms contain these similarities. And underlying consciousness are unchanging laws and constants. Big surprise. Not really, because these unchanging laws and constants make up that unchanging realm. Constants and laws, the unchangeable. For something to be controllable, it must be changeable. And we can only control the controllables. We can only control what we have control over. So what is changeable and what isn't? Well, the big deal is your consciousness is changeable. And your consciousness, you have supreme dominion and authority over your own mind, over your own consciousness. No thing, no person, no event, no God has power over your consciousness. And if something is changeable, can I change it? Well, if we're talking about something out here, you can try, but if you can't, you have to change yourself. You have to change your consciousness. This wonderful quote from Viktor E. Frankl: everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's way, regardless of outer circumstances. User-friendly metaphysics, just the fundamentals. I want to leave you with one more concept. It's a basic premise, and that premise is stumbling blocks and obstacles that appear to be in the outer realm are primarily in the mind as thoughts and feelings. And I like to put that in the first person. Stumbling blocks and obstacles that appear to be in the outer realm are primarily in my mind as my thoughts and feelings. So think of a stumbling block you have that's outside of you. The next time you have one of those, notice if it's actually the stumbling block stopping you, or whether it's your thoughts and feelings that are stopping you. Because you can only control the controllables. And the one aspect of you that you can control 100% is your consciousness. When I infected myself with HIV in 1987, that looked like a roadblock. That looked like a stumbling block. I was told I'd be dead in 2 years. Well, I knew there was a greater mind than the mind of the doctors. And I used this as an opportunity. I changed my consciousness about it. And that is an important part of our spiritual growth and our spiritual progress. How many times have you stopped yourself because of a seeming outer stumbling block, when all it was your own thoughts and fears about it that you were holding yourself back with? So friends, just the fundamentals. You can only control the controllables, and the thing that you have 100% control over is your consciousness. Use that to your advantage. And thank you for listening.
So I'm going to invite you now to, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that gave you a lot to think about. And right now we're going to go ahead and go into a meditation. So I do invite you to relax and take a deep breath as we prepare for that meditation. And you're going to, a little music as we, the power of now. Let's just listen to this as we prepare for our meditation. And you can sing along if you wish. Just relax into this present moment, this now moment.
The power of now is always present, nowhere to be than where you are. The power of now flows oh so gracefully. The power of now is always perfect, nothing to be than who you are. The power of now unfolds so peacefully. Be willing to let go of everything you think you need to know. Oh, be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to know.
So, as we allow ourselves to just sink into this present moment, we open our hearts and we open our minds to the wisdom that lies at the very core of our being. And we remember the truth that we have the power to change our thoughts, to change our way of thinking. And as we change our thoughts and ways of thinking, we change our life. That is a power that you and you alone have. So I invite you as we just sink into the meditation and spend a little bit of time in the quiet, that you take that wisdom, that knowing into the meditation with you. So let's just, for right now, just spend a little bit of time with open hearts and open minds to the presence of Spirit that is our life, is our very source, our very being. We are always connected, one with that loving, wonderful Spirit that is the truth of who we are. So let us rest in that truth right now, in the silence. So I invite you now to return your attention to this place, this time, as we sing our song, The Power of Now, one more time.
the power of now, the power of now, the power of now, the power of now.
I would like to thank Paul Hasselbeck for that wonderful talk. Even though he wasn't here, it has an impact, and he certainly had lots of information for us to think about this week. So I thank him for that. I would also like to thank Angelica for her beautiful music, and I know you can play the piano. Yeah, it was a great piano.
So at this time, I do let us take to heart our vision, mission, and statement of being, as shown on the screen.
We have a global vision. Would you please speak that with me? Our vision is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
And we have a sacred mission. Will you say that with me? We inspire and empower spiritual growth to awaken us and transform the world.
And we have a personal statement of being. Will you please say that with me? I
am a dynamic center of the Christ light, mighty to unfold my good and radiate that good to all. And we do have a few announcements, and I do want to just let you know that everything that's going on right now, you can find the information on our website. We have all sorts of things going on. We're doing things in partnership with Unity Canada, with Unity Kitchener, Unity Ottawa. Our spirit groups are starting up already, and so all of the information about the different classes and spirit groups and book studies and everything can be found on our Unity website, our Unity Spiritual Center website.
Join us after the service today at 12:30 for the last part of the series, Strengthen Your Spiritual Muscle, presented by Mariette Jones.
And that will be after our hospitality upstairs, because we do have a Thanksgiving Day of Gratitude potluck today afterwards. So please stay, join us upstairs for the potluck, and we'd love to see you up there and have you join us.
Pet Blessing and Celebration of Oneness happening Wednesday, October 19th from 5 p.m. Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor. The language we speak with our pets is not so many words, but our heart language speaks volumes, loud and clear. St. Francis knew this oneness and enjoyed the friendship of all God's creatures. This is a meaningful time to honor our animals because it is the month of Francis's feast day, October 4th. Come to Unity Spiritual Center with your beloved beings and enjoy the blessings we will confer on each. If pets are not able to come with you, just bring a picture. That works just as well. The celebration will take place under the trees at the front entrance of the chapel.
And Unity Windsor welcomes all of their readers and writers to the grand opening of our new bookstore and reading lounge on Sunday. That's next Sunday, October the 23rd. The bookstore has an extensive collection. We did a fantastic book drive. We have over 1,400 books. And so there'll be an opening, a sale of books. Books will be available for sale. And it will be a fundraiser for us, but that bookstore will be open for here to now. We'll continue to be adding books. And it's a lovely space. Also, the owners of the Cedar Circle Holistic Bed and Breakfast donated a couple of really beautiful lounge chairs that you'll find in the bookstore. So anyway, join us for that grand opening next week.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Please join us next Sunday, October 23rd, and Reverend David will present his talk titled, Transcending Our Ego Identities, From Striving to Arriving.
And just I'd let you know also that Susan Fabro will be available upstairs in the prayer chapel right after service. So if you would like someone to pray with you, Susan will be there.
Okay, and so please join us upstairs in the fellowship hall. We're just so happy that there's so many people here today. We're going to have a great time up there. All of our classes, programs, and services are made possible by your generous donations. Our heartfelt thanks for your continuous support. We've created many easy ways to donate, which you can find on the website.
And we do have a love offering box at the door opening right here by the foyer. And if you do have any love offerings or tithes, that's where you can place them. And again, thank you. You are what makes all of this possible. So thank you very much.
Now we invite you to please stand and open your hearts and minds in gratitude as we close by speaking out loud or silently the love offering prayer, followed by the peace song, and closing with the prayer for protection. Divine love in me and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. I am light.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am love.
The power of God protects us.
I am power.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am presence.
And wherever we are, God is.
I am divine.
And my friends, you truly are. And thank you so much for being here. And we look forward to having you upstairs. Thank you. Huh?